Hi, I'm Sini, and I know that it's been a long time that I have made a video. Yes, so this time, we are going to see a little bit more about the web development using Django and all those stuff. So, for starting with, we are actually, in this session, we'll cover about a little bit of Bootstrap and how to start with Bootstrap so that you can make your websites more prettier by using the Bootstrap. So as you all know that Bootstrap, it's kind of an open source front-end development framework. And why we use Bootstrap? Yeah, we do have HTML, we do have CSS and JavaScript and everything, but still, it makes our life easier, much easier when we use Bootstrap. Because the main thing which we have to see is that we could see say if we have developed one particular website, the main advantage of using Bootstrap is that it is actually responsive. Say if it is a tablet or if it is a laptop or if it is a mobile, it just keeps on changing, and it's all the contents are actually arranged automatically in the way which is beautifully seen to the user, so it is responsive. And Bootstrap has got a good documentation as well that we'll see in a minute, and they have got ready to use codes, like you can just take the code and use it. Now, another thing which we want to tell you is that the Bootstrap could be used in two different ways, and one is by downloading the source code. That is exactly like you can go to the website and download the Bootstrap, and you can just unzip it. So you could see that there are two different files. One is about the CSS; all the CSS files would be there, and the other one would be the JavaScript file. So it's kind of a mini compiled minified form of CSS and this thing. So this could be used if you want to do it locally onto your system. If you want to work locally on your system, you can do that. Another way which normally people use is, because it's of less headache, is we're using the content delivery network. So this content delivery network, it's something kind of a cloud where all the files are actually kept. So you're actually accessing the cloud and you're getting the services which you want, and so your system, your the platforms which you're using will not be loaded. So this is the most commonly used way of using the Bootstrap, because it's easy and simple. And so this is all about Bootstrap. So now how can we get started? So just to have a look over to how your Bootstrap would look like. So this is your Bootstrap page, that is your get Bootstrap page. And there are different versions of Bootstraps available, and this is the version 5.3 and the latest version, but you could also use 4, and all these versions are already available. And so this is the getting started page and the introductory page. So in the introductory page itself, you could see that how to start with the Bootstrap. So a simple demo available, it's available, and you could see that how it could be done. So you can just simply incorporate this code in your index.html and start working on, and it's as simple as that. And you could see that if you want to download Bootstrap, yes, this is the file which I have actually downloaded. You can actually use it, and you have all this two minified CSS bundle and JavaScript bundles are also available. So you have to simply unzip it for using it. And so this is a page of your Bootstrap. And now, in order to have a little bit more understanding about Bootstrap, let's just continue. And the major advantage of Bootstrap, as I told you, is the responsiveness. Like whether it is tablet or mobile or whatever it is, it is easily, all the contents are not being shown in a messy way. It is actually shown in a very nice way. So how is that possible? So it is actually possible. It is actually made possible in the Bootstrap system by using the grid system, which is available. So in grid system, to just have a quick look over to the grid system, say any of your web page or any of your web pages are actually divided into rows and columns, and each of the row is actually divided into 12 grids. So it is actually maximum of 12 grids. Say just imagine that I want to have certain buttons, like say primary, secondary, success, and different buttons here. So I can use this two grids at a time and use this as different buttons. So I can easily make my pages look in the way I want by using this grid system. So say you can have, so when you add all these twos here, it will add up to like 6 twos, so it will add up to 12. So no ma'am, I want my button to be a little bit bigger, so I want 3 grids. Yes, it is possible. You can actually make it as 3 3 3 3, so it is 4 into 3. or 4 into 4 and 6 into 6. So all these things, only thing which you have to keep in mind is that any combination which you use, it should finally add up to 12, right? So this is how this grid system basically works. So when you look at your documentation here, and when you scroll down, so everything is basically available here. So you could see the grid option here under the layout, and see here, so all the codes and everything is basically available here. Say if I want my code to be actually divided, one row could be divided, I want it to be divided into 3, you can simply use this code, and there is 3 different column sizes which is actually specified. So, and not only that, and apart from that, if you want to adapt across the default things, and if you want to customize your grids and extra small grid, so all those things are also possible. So you can also customize that, and there are different varieties which are actually given here, which you could actually simply take the code from here according to what your website you want to look it like, and you can actually use this. So there are various options given along with the code. And now getting back into, so this is exactly how you can actually make your code, the grids, change the size of the grids. And so just to have a clear understanding about how you can actually use it in your code, so normally you will have your column and then the size of the screen size, and you will also have this the number of the columns. Say if you write like column MD8, that means that you are using 8 grids at a time. Then the next part, the remaining part has to be 4, because totally it should be 8 plus 4, 12. If you are using 4, then it has to be either, I mean, like 8, or it should be 4 and 4 or something, some combinations which will add up to. So when you see this kind of a stuff in your code, you should understand that it's the column and the screen size and followed by the number of the columns. That's it. And yeah, so now we will see how to run it. So basically there are multiple ways, but in good olden days, when the atoms were live and happy, we were using this Atom. So Atom is an editor which was very simple, and it is given by the GitHub, but unfortunately it was shut down in December 2022. But still you can actually download Atom from Softonic or something like that, some websites like that, and still you can actually use it. The only thing is that you will not get any new updates about the new packages, because nothing is actually scaled anymore in the Atom. So that's why, say if you have a simple CSS file, I'll just guide you through a simple CSS file. So as you could see, that's a simple CSS file, and it has got a width and height is given, and also the color is basically given here. And so it's a very simple CSS file, and it is extension is main.css. And then you have got an index.html. So in this index.html, you have all this language and everything, header is given, and Bootstrap, and see, you are actually linking this. So it is a simple one. So now if you could see that, so this is your Atom editor. In Atom editor, as you know that in the packages you can install all the different packages. So if you open the packet manager, you can actually install the packages. So nowadays if you want to search for any packages, it might show you like it is failed, because it once it is already installed, yes, it will show you, otherwise it will sometimes show you some issues. So here in my case, I have certain packages which are already installed, so that will be actually shown here. Other than that, if I want to install new packages, it might be tough, so will not suggest you using that, but still. So if you want to try working with Atom, it is as simple as that. If you have this script, and you can just go to the script, and you can run the script, and you can see that the CSS file is basically called, and in the CSS file height and width is actually given, and the color is actually given as green, so it is actually shown. So this is as simple as with your the Atom. And now okay ma'am, okay, it is dead, and so what would be the alternative for Atom? The major or good alternative for your Atom is basically the VS Code editor. So Visual Studio Code is easily installable. You can just download and install it, and it's an easier replacement for Atom. And if you could see, you could generate new folder here, and you can actually create new files. So all those you can add to the workspace. So all those options are basically available. So I have actually created a new folder, VS Django. In that I do have these two files. So this is my main.css file. As you could see, it's a simple same file which we have been discussing, and this is the index.html file. So here in this example also we are simply using this file, like I'm just trying to link it from CSS, from its CSS. So here in the Visual Studio you can actually add extensions. So there are certain extensions which have already been added. So the one is actually is open in browser, and even if you didn't install this open in browser, there is something which is an option like open in default browser option, and you have HTML preview. So all these things are basically available. And now what you could do is that, so in this particular file we have this header, and I have actually given this kind of thing, and have a CSS file which is installed. So basically it will take this to the CSS file, that's all. So now if I run this and open in a default application, you could see that there is a small issue which is here. Let's see what it is. Yes, I have actually given this code in a wrong way, so that's why it was not getting displayed. So here you could see that this is the link to the main.css, and I have my div. Nothing is there inside the div tag here, and I don't have anything else in the body, so that's it. So if you could run it now, you could see that yes, it is actually shown as your green yellow, right? So this is how we can actually normally work with the CSS file, right? And now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to comment this. It is control/, so I'm just commenting that, and I want to show you like a simple example about this one. Say I will take this example first. Just a second. So control/, if I click, and I just wanted to show you this later, a little bit later, so I'll take this. So in this example, if you could see, and I will slightly zoom in so that is visible for you. So here if you could see, you know that I'm actually creating a class row. So in one row I need two columns. See here I have two columns. So basically I'm going to use a particular format where I have one row with two columns. This is what I'm trying to do. There what we could do is that it shows you the CDN links. I mean like the content delivery links, like it's very easy, so you can just incorporate that in your code. So I'm just incorporating all the three as of now. It has got the CSS, JavaScript, and minified CSS and JavaScript and jQuery ones. So we don't use all the three in this, but I'm just incorporating that so that I could just show you like how to incorporate that. And what I'm going to do is that I'm just copy pasting that in my code, and those as links in the code. So three different things, all the three is actually I have given here. So this is what I have done. Now in order to show you a small example of how to use this grid structure, so we will try to create this one row which is actually divided into two columns. Okay, now how can we do that? So we have now linked it, so that means that we can use the grid system now by calling the CDN from within our HTML file. So now I'm going to show you a small example of how to create a row. So this is your row which is created. In that row I need two columns. Okay, so this is one column, this is another column, so there are two columns. So if you remember, we have already seen about how to create the column. So this is the column and the screen size and 6. That means that you are dividing one row as one column with 6, right? So that's what you have actually done. So now what you have done is that in my first column I want it to be printed as hi there, and my second column it has to be actually printed it as hello there. So I will have one row which is actually divided into two columns, and in the first column it will be given as hi there. In the second column it will be given as hello there. So it's as simple as that. I'm just saving the file once again and running it. So once I run this, you could see that this is one row which is actually divided into two columns. Okay, and in the first column I have hi there, in the second column I have hello there. So it's as simple as that. So when you do this, if you want to use this, there are various templates which are already available, and you can just simply grab those contents and use it in your system. So in the grid system you have all this which are already available. Say if you want this kind of a column, you link the CDN and just use this code. So you have all these templates which are already available, so which will help and make your life easier. So whichever way of structure which you want to use in your websites, You can basically do it. All the different varieties are basically shown here. So you can simply incorporate by incorporating the code directly from the websites which are already available, right? So this is one thing. So now what I would try to do is that I want to show you about the containers. Yeah, I want to show you about the buttons first. Say if I'm, so this is actually the button. So where did I get the code? I just got the, I just, you know, have this primary, secondary and all here, right? So I just took this codes from here. So I didn't create the code anything from the scratch. I'm just using the code here. From here itself. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just incorporating those codes. So here I'm just unhandling it, and here also. So basically I'm trying to do like in my first column I need this success button, and in the second one I need this primary button. This is what I'm trying to do. Hoping that will come. So if you could see here, yes, yeah. So now when you look at it, you will have, you can see the success and primary here. So why we do have the success and primary at one corner? Because in our code, you know, see, I have actually not included that inside the first column. So say if I include this success button, I'm just taking this button from here, cut, and I'm just including it inside the code, and I'm just saving it and running it again. So if I run it again, now you could see that the success button is actually within that code. Okay, so that is also possible. So see, this was the previous one, and now you could see this change here, right? So this is what you have to understand. So according to how you want to place and where you want to place, you can actually use it. So now if I could use this div button, so this button is actually outside this, it's just in the row, that's all. Okay, if you want to put it inside a particular column itself, you can just put it like this, and now if you run this, you could see that, you know, there will be like hello there is a success button, and hello there is a primary button here, right? So according to what you want and according to what your application demands, you know, you can actually take this and do this. And so this is one example which I wanted to show. So now we will just explore a little bit more by adding a container. So ma'am, where can I find the code for this container? It's as simple as that. You can just go here and, you know, click on and get on to the container button. So where could I see that? You could see it here, the container. So the code for the container will be the template, and the code for the container will be just given here. So this is the code for the container. So if you could see this example, so you know, Jumbotron is there in Bootstrap 4. So if you could see that Jumbotron looks like something like a gray color thing, which a big button kind of stuff, you know, which where you could have big things, you know, that's a Jumbotron. So I'm using the Jumbotron, but once again, let me just correct the code. So if you could see that you have a container and you have this Jumbotron, and inside the Jumbotron I want like big Bootstrap tutorial, and this thing will be printed, and that Jumbotron is actually closed here. So this is the content which I need to be inside the Jumbotron, and then outside the Jumbotron I want, in the same container itself, I want one paragraph which talks about, you know, let's start learning about it, and in the bold letters I want this, right? So this is what it is. So hopefully it should work. So if you run this particular thing, you could see that, yes, so this is your Jumbotron color thing. So in Bootstrap 5.2, how can we use Jumbotron, ma'am? Actually, it could be used with the help of the certain classes which are already given there. Say in Jumbotron 5, I mean, like, you can create Jumbotron. I mean, like, you don't have a class exactly like Jumbotron, but instead of that you have to, you know, create each one, like the background, and you know, so you could do that, okay, by creating, by using the display. You know, you can arrange the display by using the various classes and available there, and you can actually create a Jumbotron. So that's why it is not available in 5 and above. But in the case of the 4, you had a class like Jumbotron which is already available, which could be directly used. Okay, so that's how it is. So anyway, the Jumbotron will look like this. So if you look at your page, outside page, you could see that you have this Bootstrap tutorial, right? So inside the Jumbotron I have this Bootstrap tutorial and this paragraph, right? So when I look at here, I have this Bootstrap tutorial and this one, and outside it, what I want, I have these two, and the second one has to be bold, right? So when you look at the code here, you could see that, yeah, there is a paragraph which with let's learning, and there is another paragraph which has to be bold. Yes, it is bold as well. So this is how you will actually add it. Now, one more thing which I wanted to tell you is about the now bar. Now bar is or navigation bar. It is basically the navigation bar. So if you want to use this navigation bar, say in the websites and all, you could see that certain things on the top of it, and you can actually scroll one by one, right? So this is actually a nav. I mean, like when you create the websites, it will be really useful for you if you have to use the Bootstrap, right? So for that, what you could do is that you can actually include this. Navbar code. So how can I get this navbar code, ma'am? Yes, it is actually you can use whichever navbar code which you want. You can actually use it from the all the templates are basically given here. You can actually try using whichever template which you want. So what I did is I always feel like the W3 schools, their code is really simple and it is very understandable for the first time when you are using. So there is a simple code for the navbar. So this is the navbar code which is actually given there, and inside the container you are actually this is the navbar example, and it is actually simply printing something, right? So when you this is how actually it will look like. So you will have this website homepage and etc, and there is some text which is actually printed over there. So in the W3 schools, the beauty of it is you can just try then and there and use their editor. So here inside the code, if we want to use this, what I would do is that, so there is a simple code. I have actually used that same code. So I'm using the same code here, and it will be printing like 1 2 3 and all those stuff. And now what I'm trying to do is that I want to include that inside my Jumbotron. So I'm just using it here. So I'm just including what I want to print is inside this Jumbotron, that's all. So now when you look at this, you could see here, say this is the navbar code which I have kept, and I have also given another div with a paragraph stating that let's start learning Bootstrap, kind of thing. I have just misplaced, just replaced it here and there so that it is seen there. And now when you run this particular code, you could see, when you run this code, you could see that there is a website, right? Home page, web page 1, page 1, page 2, page 3, etc. So here in the, see, this is the one. So you have the website name, okay, and followed by the home, page 1, page 2, etc. So this is exactly what you could see here, okay. So it's kind of a navigation tab which is there, and then I placed this part here, okay. I place this, let's start learning the bootstrap and all those stuff there. And if you want to make it more, I can just even take this code just to make it more beautiful and appropriate. I'm just cutting it here and just putting it there, just to make it more comfortable and all the stuff. That's it. So when I run this, now I could see see, this is a basic navbar example, and all these contents are there, and so you can just start working on and adding more onto your websites, like this. So this is how you will learn. So from where you will learn, that all those buttons and components which you want to learn, you have all these things which are available. Either you can refer to W3 schools, which I feel it is more simple, but here you have all the codes which are directly available here also. You can just take the code and incorporate in the exact place where you want. Say if you want the various navigation bars to be vertical, you can use this particular code, that's it. And you can actually change in the way you can parallelly run and see whether it is actually giving you the right results which you want or not. That's all. So that's all about here. So today we have just learned about the Bootstrap and how we can actually use the Bootstrap, from where we could do that, what is a major benefit of Bootstrap. Being responsive is the major benefit of the Bootstrap. All those little things which we want to know about Bootstrap to make our website look more beautiful and user friendly, we have just seen in this video. So hopefully it will help you to get started with. Yes, it's a beginner video, and it will help you to start with, and now you can explore all these options which are available and make your hands dirty by trying it out. All the best, and if you have any doubts, you can always get back to me. Thank you so much.